Hey, what's up, guys? Myself, Fredo Cervantes here with Infinity Television. We're live at Crypto.com Arena right now. I mean, we're minutes away from tip-off between the Sparks and the Seattle Storm. And let's not forget about what happened last night over in Phoenix, Arizona, as the Sparks visited the Mercury last night. And it was a spectacular game because we got a chance to see the team put their backs against the wall throughout the game. I mean, there was a lead change every single minute through the end of the third quarter, leading to the end of the game because we headed into overtime. There was a spectacular time that I noticed. Of course, you guys all know me. If you guys know and watch Monday Night Fredo and as well the breaks, you guys know that I'm very critical about timeouts and coaching situations. And last night, head coach from the Los Angeles Sparks, Curt Miller, called two very crucial timeouts that I was like, look at, that's the man that knows how to coach. Because after those timeouts, it came from Lexi Brown herself, but she's actually right here, right behind us. She came out, went over, got a nice screen, and went in for a game-tying shot. So it was just incredible to see Lexi Brown last night scoring 26 points, which just tied her career high. So it was an amazing day as well. We cannot forget about Jordan Canada as well. Jordan Canada, as we see her here, she had a spectacular steal, led to multiple fast break runs, which is something that the Sparks are very, very good at. So coming out of that victory last night, there's only been 4 games so far. There's been 2 games against Vegas, which came in the loss, and 2 games against the Mercury, which came on opening night and last night as well. So what can we look forward for today with the Sparks and the Seattle Storm here live from the Crypto.com Arena? I can expect the Sparks to be maybe a little tired because they actually flew charter last night from Phoenix coming right back down to Los Angeles here. So they got into Los Angeles at around 1 a.m. in the morning last night, and they're back out here 24 hours later. So let's see what we can expect. Let's see if Lexi Brown is going to continue her spectacular shooting. And Jordan Canada is playing some amazing defense. Okay, guys? So let's go ahead and stay tuned and watch the weekly Spark report here on Infinity Television.
I would guesstimate that players got into bed between 1:30 and 2:30 a.m., but we were at least in our own bed. So we know right off the bat that the preparation between the two teams coming into tonight is definitely different. But again, that charter, first step for the league, is a game changer and allowed us to get home last night. Sometimes, the best of worst case scenarios, it was the best thing that could have happened to us with the new policy.
Hi, Coach. Is that something that you feel like can even the playing field?
I know how we felt last night, being able to grab food quickly after the game. We eventually got to the charter, right onto the tarmac, and were departed and got home as quickly as possible. We just joked around, and ultimately, as we progress, and continue to look at avenues down the road with travel, it's exciting to think about because it's such a difference than what we're used to.
Follow up. How much different is this game going to be than the scrimmage that we watched at Loyola Marymount? Obviously, you're playing the same team, but different roster and different stakes.
Yeah, certainly a lot of players playing and looking at back then for both teams to see who would make opening day rosters. So there's personnel differences. What I don't think will be different, though, is how hard Seattle plays, how athletic they are. They have, they have bought into a style and talk about it very, proudly and confidently, and they're going to battle with us. And I thought they out-toughed us in the scrimmage. So that, is a challenge for us, especially coming off in an overtime and now in a back-to-back. But I'm excited to go to war with this group again, and great opportunity to be right back, on the court playing in a game.
Edwin?
Coach, how do you slow down Jewel Lloyd?
Yeah, it's a good question. A lot of people sit up here and don't have that answer, and I'm not going to have a magical answer. All I will tell you is she's arguably the best two guard in the world at the present time, and she deserves and draws a lot of schemes and attention. And so, as any great player in this league, what I will always tell you is you can't give them the same look for 40 minutes. She's too talented. So we have to try to keep her off balance and throw different people at her, throw different schemes at her. And still, you have to live with her getting points. Can you make it be a little bit inefficient? What I mean by that is, does she have to take a lot of shots to get the amount of points that she's averaging? If she gets to 26 tonight, that isn't as big a concern as that total number is how many shots did it take her to get there. So anything to try to keep her off balance and try to make her efficiency a little bit less than what it typically is.
Coach, what's the most dangerous thing about a team, though early in the season, searching for their first win?
Yeah, hungry. They are priding themselves like us. It's a foundational year. It's a new culture. It's a new team in Seattle. So we're all trying to scratch and claw and build our identity. And what I think is fun around the league with the teams and the franchises in that situation right now, there's a lot of belief in the locker rooms. So you hear it. You hear it through Seattle's players. They believe in what they're doing. It hasn't always equated to a win, but that's what foundational years are. That's what building years are, is you can't always, define success by wins and losses. So I've been impressed from afar about Seattle's positive attitude and what they're doing over there. So it's fun. It's two teams really, really working hard for identities right now.
And last question, Jack.
Follow.
Okay. This morning, after listening to a couple of their players, you speak of them being rested, having not played since Tuesday, you guys coming off of back-to-back. Is there truth to, as they mentioned this morning, you guys could be in more rhythm than them right now, and can you kind of lean into that?
Yeah, I hope so. Like in that momentum, we probably anticipate using our bench early, and it's important that we let the game settle in and get our second breath, because, again, we extended minutes of players down the stretch of that game last night and came away with a huge road victory. It's hard to win on the road in this league, but it's equally as important to win home games, and I prided myself as a head coach in this league that's huge in building teams, is winning home games. Very confidently, I'm excited that in my 6 years, we've won more home games in the teams that I've coached of any team in the league. And so protecting home court is really important. And so we know we can build in excuses if we want about tonight, but we've got to do what we can to try to protect home court.
Last question to Jackie on Zoom.
Hey, Coach, you drive home a lot that this is a foundational and building year. Is there anything you can speak to where you can see the team is really ahead of the curve, or they're further along than you expected them to be this early in the season?
It's a good question, and I could keep you here a long time on how many things are going well. I'm really excited about where we're at, but I think, a big adjustment for them is our preparation, is how much film we watch, how much we try to teach them the game of not only what we're trying to do schematically, offensively, and defensively, but how teams are attacking us. And they've really bought in, and they've welcomed it and, thrived through it right now. It's not easy to play for me in terms of film. It's not easy to play for me in terms of preparation. You have to master the monotony of day in and day out that we're going to grind in the film room together. So I'm really pleased with how our approach has been to that out of the gate when, frankly, they weren't used to that here. That was not part of the culture. So excited about the buy-in that we have there, and I think because of that, we're ahead of the curve.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
But next game. Probably, maybe.
All right, for everybody, just once again, Nneka last night was overtime win. She recorded her 493rd career steal, passing Lisa Leslie to become the Sparks franchise leader in steals. She currently ranks 18th all-time in WNBA history in total steals. And Lexi had tied her 26 points last night, tied her career high. LA Times.
So how did you guys feel getting to use the charter to get here after yesterday's game?
Felt like a celebrity.
I feel like I could use it 19 more times.
No, it was really nice. That's amazing that the W was able to make that happen, because I do not know how we would have woken up this morning, got on a flight, and been prepared to play this game tonight. So that's huge for us. Very grateful.
Nneka, if you don't get to just wave a wand and charter every flight, what do you think is the next most important thing that you should be chartering?
You mean how structuring it? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, in terms of selecting the games.
Oh yeah, I mean back-to-backs I think are non-negotiable, and I think maybe even it could be to the discretion of the teams. I've been kind of throwing this idea out there, maybe giving an allotment, you can charter up to this many flights, or you have a minimum amount you can, and then a maximum amount. I feel like something like that could work out, because even if you just apply it to a select number of the games, that's just such a huge difference maker, especially if you're playing every other day in different cities. So yeah, I think there's lots of different ways to get creative about it.
When it comes to your feat last night, Nneka, of course, throughout your career, it's always about the bigger picture and the biggest milestone of winning championships. But along the way, those mini milestones, how does that one kind of rank? And, where do you hold that? How do you measure those along the way?
To be honest, I didn't even know it was happening. I didn't really know it had happened until people said. And, for me, I was just happy about the win. But, when you speak to these types of milestones, I'm just really grateful to be doing it in purple and gold, and to be doing it in an LA Sparks jersey and representing this city and championship city, and just being with players that get it, and being able to celebrate players that are also creating their own way on a team that means a lot historically to the league and to the city and to so many of us that get a chance to play as Sparks.
Ray Morality, Sporting Tribune. This is for Lexi. Against the Aces, you went 5 for 5 in the first half, and you didn't get many shots after that. Against Phoenix, same thing, 5 for 5 for 12 points, but then you scored a career best 26 points. Was there a change of mindset in that game compared to Las Vegas?
Maybe I was a little bit more aggressive offensively. No disrespect to Phoenix, but Vegas definitely is a better team defensively as far as schemes and their individual one-on-one defense. I think I was looking to distribute a little more in that Vegas game, because I think everybody was, clicking in that game. But yesterday, something I just saw, and I love Sophie. I just saw Sophie in front of me, and I was like, no. So after seeing, Jackie in front of me for 2 straight games, it was, something that I was like, I need to redeem myself. It's kind of one of those games after my performance in Vegas a few days ago. But again, it was a team effort. They were giving me confidence the entire game. Whether I start 0 for 5 or 5 for 5, the energy stays the same, and I love that about this team.
Thank you.
Lexi, I'm curious to know what it meant to you last night for Nneka to say that, she feels like you're in the process of going from good to great.
Yeah, it meant a lot. Me and Nneka have had a lot of conversations since we ended last season. We knew what changes needed to be made for us to grow as an organization and as a team. And for her to come to me so early in the process meant the world to me, because I've never been a player that has been considered a key piece to a team. So to feel that from a player like Nneka, who's so decorated, who's so well respected, who does so much for this league, I couldn't ask for a better veteran leader to hear that from. And it meant a lot to me, and, we're just getting started, and I'm glad that I have her by my side.
Nneka, we were just talking with Curt about film preparation, how that's been a dramatic change from previous seasons. What has that been like for Seattle since it was a back-to-back? How did you process that and break down that film with such a quick turnaround? Yeah, once we were able to fly home, we kind of rested and just came to the gym early. Interestingly enough, Curt was my assistant years ago under Brian, And a lot of how we watch film reminds me of how we watch film with Brian. He really loved diving into the film. So today, we were able to come in early, do a little walkthrough, and then just watch the edit, which included some of our preseason game and a few of the games that they've already played. It's very helpful that we played them in preseason, and that right now we've only played 3 teams. So
Yes.
it's also very helpful to kind of have a lot of that action fresh on our mind. So we were able to watch a good bit of film before we started warming up. Thank you.
Big home win tonight, you guys, and it's not easy to do what we just did on a back-to-back and a road to home back-to-back. Proud of their grit and togetherness. I'm proud of just how hard we played. We played every starter 29 minutes or more on a back-to-back and found a way when most teams would lose their legs to score 53 points in the second half. And do some really nice things in that second half. And again, second game in 2 nights. So big building game for us. Proved to ourselves that we could win a tough game like that. And, that Seattle team had, since Tuesday to prepare for us. So huge win. Huge win for us as we protected home court. They've been so dynamic in their 3 games in transition. So we talk about that all the time. They were shooting a really high percentage in the first half when we weren't turning them over. So we knew we needed to be disruptive. We knew we were going to, Jewel was going to take a lot of shots and Jewel was going to get hers, but could we contain a lot of the other people? And we just flew around. We got a lot of deflections. We got a lot of hands on balls tonight. And that was the difference. They shot. We got them under 50% finally in that second half, but they shot a good percentage. But turnovers, our steals were the big story in the game.
Coach, right here, Steve Finley, Culver City News, Culver City Observer. First game of the year, you said Jordan Canada was your quarterback, and she came in last few minutes of the game, but she played most of the game, but she made a lot of key plays down the stretch. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, again, Jordan kind of is the head of the snake defensively, right? The game that she didn't play was our weakest game. There's no coincidence that she spearheads that defense. Again, Jewel had a great game, but what Jordan did and the efforts that she gave up defensively every possession to chase Jewel around and try to make things as difficult as possible, and then have to return at the offensive end and run us and keep us in the tempo that we want to play at is impressive. And again, she's never going to get the credit that she deserves because she's not going to be a leading point scorer. But what she does and what she means to us tempo-wise, defensively, both ends of the ball, she's so important to what we do.
Curt, Tukney Nguyen with the LA Times. You said you guys just found a way to win. What has it taught you about the character of this team to not fold in this situation where there could have been a lot of excuses to not win this game?
Yeah, again, we tried hard not to talk about why this was going to be hard or why we couldn't win this game. So first and foremost, they had a great mindset coming into this game. They showed their competitiveness. They showed their togetherness. Our huddles have really improved, the peer accountability, the conversations that they're having on the court. You can hear it now in the huddles. Our communication is really improving amongst them. And what I've learned is I got a group more competitive than maybe I give them credit for. And this back-to-back really helps show that. It's still early in the season and we've only played 5 games, but 4 out of the 5 games we've really played well. And the one game that we didn't have 3 starters was one that we just didn't have a great night. We didn't have it that night. But when we've had our unit, all 4 games, we've really competed and played hard.
Yes, Coach, you mentioned the job Jordan Canada did late, especially on Jewel. Was there any consideration on doubling Jewel there late in the game? And why did you opt to just have Jordan Canada kind of take care of that defensive responsibility?
Yeah, I think one of the things that you will see about Seattle is you know, they're number one in the league in unassisted baskets. What does that tell you? That they make a lot of one-on-one plays. They have players that can go one-on-one. So it's easier said than done to try to find ways to double Jewel, because there's no one else around her. She's just using step back. She's using one-on-one moves. She's making really difficult. So if you overcommit a double when there's no one there, now she can start to spray the ball, and she's still going to score her points. So when there's ball screens and when there's other actions that give other players around her, then you're going to see different coverages, not only by us but everyone. But it's really hard to go double in the open court when Jewel's just using step backs and one-on-one moves to get off shots. You've got to just dig in, guard, and you got to live with the tough shots that she makes. I don't know how to say this other than you just say it. She's the best two guard in the world, period, right now, period. And, but we won a game when she scored 37 because of our collective unit.
Coach, back during preseason, I remember you were talking about how your identity this year, you felt like it was really going to be in your front court. Tonight, Nneka and Chiney, they kind of put on a clinic there in the post throughout the game. And Seattle's a team with a lot of size, and Ezzy and Mercedes. But just, when the two of them are clicking like that, and they're getting easy baskets down low, just how much does that open up the floor, for everybody else out there?
Yeah, Nneka was terrific tonight, and it wasn't always actions. She had to make a lot of individual plays when she got the ball. Credit to her. Ezzy and Mercedes are good rim protectors. We didn't have a great night at times recognizing switching, and again, that's a lack of any kind of preparation. We can talk about it until they're blue in the face, but until they feel the switching and know that we have some advantages, we'll get better. Now we can look at film and try to prepare for Tuesday. But they did a really nice job. When Seattle went small, once again, it took us a possession or two, but then we tried to take advantage of them going smaller. So Nneka really, really led us tonight, had a really good night around the paint. We were tough around the paint, 44 to 20 points in the paint. So as many threes and as good as Jewel played, when you can outscore a team like that in the paint, you're going to have success.
And last question right here.
Hey, Coach. Fredo Cervantes here with Infinity TV. What have you learned in the first 5 games now that you've kind of gotten a chance to see what your schemes are, your rotations? I know certain players have been out due to something that was going around the locker room. What do you feel that you're going to be able to kind of carry over throughout the season after the first 5 games?
Again, one of our pillars, a part of our defense, is being disruptive or dictating what we want. I feel at times that we've turned people over. What I've learned is, it's our field goal percentage defense is still a little bit high. When we turn people over, we're having success. When we don't, we have to dig in and get more stops. But I feel that we have a unit that can find disruption and find opportunities to, really dictate what we want to happen at the defensive end. Offensive end, I just love our unselfishness. Again, tonight it's our balance with all 5 starters, 9 or more, 4 in double figures. It's the balance right now, the unselfishness. We're 24 turnovers, 24 assists, 7 turnovers, or 9 turnovers if you take some dead ball turnovers. Again, we're really, really handling the ball. Again, our roster construction isn't absolutely normal, right? Our 2 6'3" 3 players are not coming through the door this year. They're both out all year. So we have another ball handler in Layshia. We have smaller guards on the floor, but we're really sharing it, and I love how unselfish we've been 5 games into the season.
Great, thank you. Claire's will be in here momentarily. Layshia tonight.
What was it?
With 16 points.
Okay.
And third game in double figures this season.
Oh,
Question, LA Times.
New with the LA Times. Layshia, obviously getting that charter last night didn't win you this game.
But it did not.
Exactly. How much do you think getting to have that impacted the way you guys were able to play, and kind of by extension, when hopefully the league expands, more charter flights, how do you think that'll impact the product that's on the floor every night?
Yeah, I think anytime you can get off your feet quicker, not be in the airport. I mean, we were just giddy because the level of stress it takes off of getting through security, waiting for your flight, boarding with other people, all of the kind of theatrics that go into flying commercial. It just makes a difference mentally and emotionally, and obviously physically getting back home that night. So we were super excited about that, and I think it makes a better product overall. So looking forward to a lot more of those.
Chiney, LT Lewis, TG Sports. You guys had 13 steals in the game tonight. You guys have been flying over the court. It seems this year, this new team, there's a different type of swagger with this team as far as energy, confidence. What do you contribute to that this year?
I like your words, swag. That's cooler than what I was going to say. There's a different type of trust. I think our team trusts each other. We play hard. We enjoy playing basketball, and we enjoy playing basketball together. And I think we're maturing together as players in this league. We've all had different stories, different paths. But I think that chip on our shoulder from what we have experienced years past, everyone here is hungry for more. And so when we go on the court, we see it as an opportunity to have fun and to just keep building on that trust, or AKA swag. Yeah.
Dang.
Still getting over it.
Oh, I know.
Chiney, you were very efficient from the field, and you've been, shooting pretty well overall. What's your approach now in Curt Miller's system in picking your spots on when to attack, when to, pass, and what shots you're taking versus, other years, and how you've been taking your shot selection?
Curt is a very cerebral coach, and to be able to play for someone like that brings out the best in you as a player, because he always looks for advantages. I think he sometimes overlooks for advantages because he's like, he can't rest. There's always a move and a counter move and a chess match going on. But to be able to have that type of leadership and trust in knowing who I am, what I've gone through personally, and then also where we are now, it's cool. I mean, we're forced to get better as players. That's what this league demands with the evolution of the game. And for Curt to have that trust and confidence in all of us, myself particularly, knowing that we go way back, it's been a beautiful thing. So it's been fun. I think we're growing together still. And I'm really excited about how our team is responding to the adversity we've had so far early this season. Long training camp, a couple down bodies, but no one is ever down. Everyone is out there just fighting and playing super hard. And I think this was probably, I would say, our best win considering the circumstances in which we had to go on the road, take a hard one in OT, then come back and defend home court for our fans. And it was funny, I got a message from a loved one, and they were like, I'm really starting to build trust back in this team. That's the type of stuff we want, them to see that we're playing the brand of basketball that they trust and love. And I think it starts from the top down.
Layshia, just a little while ago, Coach was talking about the unselfishness of this team, and how that's been one of the main themes, throughout the early in the season. Aside from your 16 points, you had 6 assists tonight, and 24 assists as a whole compared to only 7 turnovers. What have you seen in terms of that unselfish play through these first few games of the season?
We just don't have that player that every team has. Typically, that you're like, God dang. You can think of that person on the team that's just kind of always going to take that shot. And so I think the character of who our team is and the people that KB and Curt specifically picked to play with this team, they didn't pick someone who was going to go out there and be like, I'm trying to get 30 every night. They very specifically put together this team with a certain kind of character of people. And I think that's really showing, is just that we're making the next right pass on any given night. When it starts from the top down with your superstar Nneka, it's not like, if I don't get my touches, I'm upset, right? She sets the tone for our entire team to say, if Nneka didn't score in a game, she would be totally fine and we won and move on. And so I think that really just makes a difference with everybody. And, when it's my night to shine, when it's Carly's, when it's Lexi's, we're so excited and joyful for each other. And I think part of it is we've all been through so much in this league at this point in our career that you know what it's like to have a story, and you know what it's like to be, kicked down or beat down. And so you can empathize with people across the board. When we started this season, we all were last year, everyone is trying to overcome something, whether you were on the Sparks or not on a team or on a different team. had a pregnancy, or name it what it is. If you're Zaya, you're a rookie coming in, like you're all just trying to overcome something, and I think that kind of like is that fabric of who this team is, and that really glues us together, and then it makes the basketball just like really fun.
John W. Davis with the Southern California News Group. Layshia, how important is it for you?
He traveled with us, y'all. We saw you in the airport. Oh, wait, no? We can't spill your tea? Oh, my bad.
We got to talk about that later. Anyway.
No, not on the charter, y'all. We just saw him, friendly face.
Anyway, I was working.
Rumors. Oh, yeah,
I was working last week. Anyway.
Always.
All right. So, Layshia, talk to me about the idea of toughness and physicality for you, because I feel like I really saw that out there in the court for you. And then, Chiney, how important is Layshia's toughness and physicality for this team?
I mean, mine is I play bigger than I am, so my mantra is always bite them on the ankles. Like, that's what I do when I go out there. I might be, 5'9", but I play a lot bigger, and I like to play physical and I like to play tough, and so I think that's just something that plays to my advantage to guard a 3-player or getting switched on to certain people. And it's just that grit and that toughness, and I think that's what we really had tonight, and I was really proud of myself for having that and getting to the free throw line and just knowing. I think part of that is the veteran experience of a game like tonight is like your legs are going to be tired. You got to find ways to like get to the free throw line to bring energy early for your team to kind of bring that thing that's going to be. It's that tough. It's that grittiness that's kind of intangible. So that's just a part of who I am in my game and what I try and bring and contribute to this team.
And I've known Lay forever. We're, what is it? Big game? Battle of the big game back in the Bay. Cal versus Stanford. Undefeated. Undefeated. Did y'all beat? Y'all went to one Final Four when we lost my junior year. Trauma. But I've known Lay for a long time. Y'all won or something like that, or we shared, or something like that. But to be able to see her path and her journey and everything that's gone on is really impressive. And I think that mental fortitude as a player in this league who fights for opportunities and thrives when she gets there, like, it's the coolest thing ever. And so it's fun to have people like this that you've gone through wars with literally since you were out of high school. And then now your teammates, like, we don't take that for granted.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.